Welcome back to Basketball Unfiltered. So, it's been like a month since I put out a video. I know, I'm sorry. But I've been super focused on my Facebook page and I've neglected my YouTube channel. But I'm back with another video. So, if you've not subscribed to my channel as yet, subscribe. And also, please go over to my Facebook page, Basketball Unfiltered, and give it a like and a follow, because we do like short videos on there, question of the days, and we have like basketball debates, and it's kind of fun. So head over there, hit the like button, but stay here for right now because we have a video coming up and we're going to be doing the best player on every team in the league. So stay tuned because you're watching Basketball Unfiltered. So, the first team, the Atlanta Hawks. Their best player has to be Paul Millsap, averaging 18.1 points per game, 7.7 rebounds, and 3.7 assists. Next, the Boston Celtics. Their best player, Isaiah Thomas, averaging 28.9 points per game, 2.7 rebounds, and 5.9 assists. Next up, the Brooklyn Nets. Their best player, Brook Lopez, averaging 20.5 points per game, 5.4 rebounds, and 2.3 assists. Next, the Charlotte Hornets. Their best player, Kemba Walker, averaging 23.2 points per game, 3.9 rebounds per game, and 5.5 assists. Next up, we have the Chicago Bulls. And even though Dwayne Wade is there, their best player has got to be Jimmy Butler, averaging 23.9 points per game, 6.2 rebounds per game, and 5.5 assists. Next up, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Their best player, LeBron James, averaging 26.4 points per game, 8.6 rebounds per game, and 8.7 assists. Next up is the Dallas Mavericks. Their best player, Dirk Nowitzki, averaging 14.2 points per game, 6.5 rebounds per game, and 1.5 assists. Next up is the Denver Nuggets, where in my opinion their best player is Jokic, averaging 16.7 points per game, 9.8 rebounds, and 4.9 assists. Next we have the Detroit Pistons, where their best player is Andre Drummond, averaging 13.6 points per game, 13.8 rebounds, and just 1.1 assists. Next up we have the Golden State Warriors. And their best player, drumroll, Kevin Durant. I know, just relax. But in my opinion, Kevin Durant is their best player, where he's averaging 25.1 points per game, 8.3 rebounds, and 4.8 assists. Next up, we have the Houston Rockets. And of course, their best player is our MVP candidate, James Harden, averaging 29.1 points per game, 8.1 rebounds, and 11.2 assists. Up next, we have the Indiana Pacers, where their best player is, of course, Paul George, averaging 23.7 points per game, 6.6 rebounds per game, and 3.3 assists. Next, the LA Clippers, where their best player is the point guard, Chris Paul, averaging 18.1 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 9.2 assists. Next, we have the LA Lakers. Now, I really wasn't sure who to put as their best player. It was kind of a toss-up between Russell, Randall, and Clarkson, and really and truly, whoever you go with, it really doesn't matter. So I'm just going to go with Julius Randle, averaging 13.2 points per game, 8 rebounds, and 3.6 assists. Up next, we have the Memphis Grizzlies. Their best player, in my opinion, is Marc Gasol, averaging 19.5 points per game, 6.3 rebounds, and 4.6 assists. Next, we have the Miami Heat, where their best player is clearly Hassan Whiteside, averaging 17 points per game, 14.1 rebounds per game, and just 0.7 assists. Yeah. Next, we have the Milwaukee Bucks, where their best player is Giannis. I'm not going to pronounce his last name. He's averaging 22.9 points per game, 8.8 rebounds, and 5.4 assists. Next up is the Minnesota Timberwolves, where their best player is, in my opinion, Karl-Anthony Towns, where he's averaging 25.1 points per game, 12.3 rebounds, and 2.7 assists. Next, we have the New Orleans, the Pelicans, where it was kind of hard for me to decide, and it's been hard for me to decide between these two bigs. It's whether you like Cousins or whether you like Davis, and I'm gonna go with DeMarcus Cousins, where he's averaging 27 points per game, 11 rebounds, and 4.6 assists. Next, we have the New York Knicks. Now, I think that the obvious choice for some would be to choose Melo, but I'm going to just stir things up a little bit. And I'm going to say that the best New York Knicks player is Kristaps Porzingis. Yeah, I'm going to go with Kristaps. He's averaging 18.1 points per game, 7.2 rebounds, and just 1.5 assists. Now, I know that the Melo fans are going to kill me, but I don't care. So, whatever. Next up, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder, where clearly their best player is the triple-double man himself, Russell Westbrook. Averaging a triple-double this season and probably will be the league's MVP. He's averaging 31.6 points per game, 10.7 rebounds, and 10.4 assists. Next, we have the Orlando Magic, where I believe that their best player is Nikola Vucevic. He's been like one of my favorite big men in the league over the past couple of seasons, and his hype kind of died down a little bit, but I think that he's the best Magic. So yeah, he's averaging 14.6 points per game, 10.4 rebounds, and 2.8 assists. Next up, we have the Philadelphia 76ers, where their best player is Joel Embiid, averaging 20.2 points per game, 7.8 rebounds, and 2.1 assists. Next up, we have the Phoenix Suns. Now, this is also, I was kind of unsure who to choose. I was trying to go like towards Bledsoe, but I'm going to go with the young kid Booker. I think that right now he's kind of like their future, and I'm going to say that he's the best Suns player that they've got right now. And he is averaging 22.1 points per game, 3.2 rebounds, and 3.4 assists. Next up, we have the Portland Trail Blazers, where their best player is Damian Lillard, averaging 27 points per game, 4.9 rebounds, and 5.9 assists. Next, we have the Sacramento Kings, where Cousins was traded, so now their best players got to be Rudy Gay, averaging 18.7 points per game, 6.3 rebounds, and 2.8 assists. Next up, we have the San Antonio Spurs, where their best player is clearly Kawhi Leonard, where he's averaging 25.5 points per game, 5.8 rebounds, and 3.5 assists. Next, we have the Toronto Raptors, where a lot of people might say that Kyle Lowry is their best player, but I definitely think that DeMar DeRozan is the Raptors' best player. He's averaging 27.3 points per game, 5.2 rebounds, and 3.9 assists. Next team up is the Utah Jazz, where their best player is Gordon Hayward, and probably like my favorite player right now. He has my heart. Gordon is averaging 21.9 points per game, 5.4 rebounds, and 3.5 assists. And last but not least, we have the Washington Wizards, where clearly their best player is John Wall, averaging 23.1 points per game, 4.2 rebounds, and 10.7 assists. So as always, these are just my opinions. If you feel like there's a player that I should have chosen that I didn't choose, or I know a lot of you Curry fans are going to be coming at me, but we can talk about it in the comment section below. Of course, stay tuned for more videos. Subscribe to my channel, like my Facebook page, and as always, thank you guys for watching. So this has been Basketball Unfiltered, and I will see you guys next time.